Hello again, everybody. I'm Ed Robinson, and this is another edition of Robinson Responds. I'm here to give you my thoughts on some of the things that caught my attention in the second Sunday of the 2024 NFL regular season. I want to start off talking about the matchup on Sunday Night Football between the Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans. Of course, we know the NFL is a quarterbacks league, and this game was all about how the quarterbacks would respond. For Chicago, Caleb Williams. For Houston, C.J. Stroud. I mean, C.J. was solid on Sunday night. Matter of fact, this was the Texans' first Sunday night game in 5 years. C.J. responded and he played well, but this was all about the Texans' defense going after Caleb Williams. Caleb, you could see a rookie is going to take his lumps and bumps. It's going to be a long year for him. So what we learned in this game is that Chicago's offensive line has a lot of work ahead of them, and it's going to be a long year for them, and it's going to be a long year for Caleb if they don't get it together. So Caleb Williams finished the game completing 23 out of 37 passes for 174 yards and 2 interceptions. On the winning end for the Texans, C.J. Stroud completed 23 out of 36 passes for 260 yards and a touchdown pass. So C.J. was solid in this game, but the Texans' defense, they were unstoppable, and they got to Caleb, and they dismantled the Bears' offensive line. And Matt Eberflus and that Bears coaching staff, it's going to be a long year if they don't get Caleb protected, and they got to get that offensive line fixed in a hurry, because the NFL doesn't just stand for the National Football League. It stands for not for long, and not for long will you have a job. And certainly they want to protect the franchise quarterback. They want to protect that prized possession, the offensive line. They've got to step it up, and they fell short on Sunday night as the Texans defense just manhandled Caleb Williams, and they were just unstoppable as the Texans would go on to beat the Bears. Also, another action in one of the late games, really the game of the day, was the Cincinnati Bengals going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Chiefs won a close one, 26-25. Kicker Harrison Butker kicked the game-winning 51-yard field goal. Patrick Mahomes finished the game completing only 18 out of 25 passes for 151 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and 2 interceptions. On the losing end, Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow completed 23 out of 36 passes for 258 yards and 2 touchdown passes. Okay, so in a nutshell, Cincinnati had a chance to win this game. Unfortunately, Cincinnati committed a penalty, wound up getting called for a defensive pass interference. The defender hung on the back of Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice, and, you know, you're going to get called for that every time, and that's a tough way for the Bengals to lose that game, because the Bengals, had that penalty not been committed, Cincinnati most likely would have won that game. But woulda, coulda, shoulda. They committed the penalty. They paid the price for it. Mahomes did what he did, got him enough, got him just in field goal range to give Harrison Butker room. They kicked the game winner. Chiefs would go on to win 26-25. So again, this is another legendary game in the rivalry with Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. And I've watched a lot of football in my lifetime thus far, and I'm not dating myself, but I remember the great games with Montana and Marino, and Montana and Elway, Elway and Marino, Warren Moon and John Elway, also Steve Young, Brett Favre, Steve Young, Troy Aikman, or Randall Cunningham going up against Steve Young, Randall Cunningham and Joe Montana, so on and so forth. And then we were also blessed to see another era with great quarterback rivalries like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, also see Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers in the mix as well. And now we are blessed with another exciting rivalry between Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. Both of these quarterbacks are dynamic. Both of these quarterbacks are very different in the way they approach the game. But, you know, the story remains the same. They want to win multiple Super Bowls, and they want to be the top dog for their teams. And we were treated to another game in another chapter in the Mahomes-Burrow rivalry. The New York Jets get their first win of the year. They beat the Tennessee Titans 24-17. And this game was all about quarterback Aaron Rodgers. So Rodgers, again, Aaron showed some athletic ability, again, at his age, coming off of an Achilles. You're not going to see him do too much running, but for the most part, he was solid. And again, he completed 18 out of 30 passes for 176 yards and 2 touchdown passes. So Aaron was effective in this game, made some great throws down the field, and also the Jets, they ran the ball much better, and their defense played much better. Now, as far as the Jets' defense is concerned, they're currently without Hassan Reddick due to a contract dispute, and now they lost Jermaine Johnson for the year due to an Achilles injury. So the Jets, it's tough already with one player out for the year with an injury, then you have another player remains out due to a contract dispute. But the Jets' defense were effective against Will Levis. The Titans having growing pains at the quarterback position. They're still trying to figure themselves out on the offensive side. It's going to be a minute before they can get that together, but clearly the story was about the New York Jets, and now the offense played much better. Aaron Rodgers throwing 2 touchdown passes in the contest to get a victory over the Tennessee Titans 24-17. And the New Orleans Saints, when the Saints go marching in, and the Saints, they marched into Jerry World in Arlington, Texas, and they didn't just handle business. They performed the second line and a jazz funeral on the Dallas Cowboys, with the Saints handling their business, beating the boys 44-19. Derek Carr completing 11 out of 16 passes for 243 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and an interception, and he had a rushing touchdown. This was the Alvin Kamara game. Alvin had 20 carries for 115 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, and a receiving touchdown. So the Saints, they came in, they went into Jerry World, and they handled their business. Kudos to Clint Kubiak. Clint Kubiak was the former passing game coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, now currently the offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints in his first year, and they went in and put on a master class on the Dallas Cowboys on the offensive side. Defensively, the Saints had Dak Prescott in fits, made him overthrow passes. Dak, he overthrew passes, was able to, he was flustered in the pocket, got sacked several times. The Saints defense, they just did a number on Dallas's offense. But Alvin Kamara ran like a man on a mission. And I don't know if this is the precursor of what's to come. It's still very early in the NFL season, but the Saints, they did a number on Carolina last week, and they did a number on the Dallas Cowboys. And that offense clicked on all cylinders, not just Derek Carr, not just Alvin Kamara, but Rashid Shaheed, also Chris Olave, Taysom Hill, just to name a few. So the Saints march on to a 2-0 start in this early part of the year, with New Orleans beating Dallas 44-19. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Robinson Responds. Until next time, everybody, be safe and have a good one. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.